It feels like it's been a lot longer than 4 days since my last video, but oh well, here we are. I've got some more of your War of the Worlds questions answered today, as well as a couple of little bits of information regarding NPCs in the game. Not only that, I have an announcement at the end of the video, so make sure that you stick around for that. Before I get started, I just wanted to thank all of you for helping me reach 2,000 subscribers. I hit it the same day as my last video posted, and it's insane to think how fast I went from 1,000 to 2,000. It took just over a month, but it took, it's the same amount of time to go from 500 subs to 1,000. It's just amazing to see how much love the channel's been getting these last few weeks. I also want to thank my awesome members for choosing to support the channel financially. It means a lot to me that you want to help, and I'm hoping soon to start purchasing better equipment to make the videos even better. The first thing being a webcam so I can do facecam videos and streams. And if you want to do the same and contribute, then there's just the join button underneath this video. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Now jumping in, I want to quickly go over your questions. So the first one, I don't know who asked this, so sorry about that, but it was, will players be able to choose their own preferred audio settings? So for example, if they want the old heat ray sounds over the new ones that RAF has implemented. So players could essentially just tune the game to their liking. Now unfortunately, the answer to that from the dev is probably not. The problem is RAF wants to continue to improve the sounds in the game until they're pretty much perfect, so this might mean going through multiple iterations of sounds, and if that's the case there'd be a lot of options to choose from, and it's a lot of work. So I think it's simpler just to have one to choose from, unless obviously modders can get their hands on it and make their own sounds or whatever. Next question is one of my questions to RAF, though I'm sure many of you have asked this in the community, and that is, what is the long-term plan for the AI? Will they always be standing around in towns until a tripod arrives, or will they have set objectives of their own that they will try to achieve? RAF has said that he's working on the NPCs to have them be smarter, and I'm guessing more reactive to their environment. I will touch on this a bit more later, as I have a good suggestion that I've already spoken to RAF about, but I have a few more community suggestions I wanted to talk about later anyway. Moving on, this question comes from the comments by You're Wasting Your Time Reading This, thanks for that. And their question was, is there going to be any way to craft food? Well, I took this to RAF and asked, will there be crafting in general, including food, and you'll be glad to hear that RAF actually said yes. So it sounds like you'll definitely be able to craft food, but I do wonder what other items you'll potentially be able to craft. We know that you can find backpacks to increase inventory size, so I do wonder if perhaps one of the crafting items will also be a backpack. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see as a craftable item, and also what you think you should need in order to craft that item, so I can perhaps pitch some of these ideas to RAF. As we all know, RAF acts heavily on community feedback, so you have a good opportunity here to get something cool into the game. This next question comes from J-Dog, and they asked if there will be a creative mode so we can spawn in things. I'm guessing they mean like tripods, aliens, military, amongst other things, maybe vehicles for example. RAF has said that he will probably add something like this, so that is really good to hear, because I really would like to create battles in creative mode and kind of do set pieces so I can get good cinematics. This would also be great to kind of create a narrative in videos as well, so when the game is created I can make a bit of a story to my content, so I really do hope this makes it in. The last question here comes from Frozone, and they ask if we'll be able to hear military comms like orders before and during a battle with a tripod. Well, RAF has basically said yes, but also no. So there will be military comms, but they will all be urgent sounding, and the radio chatter will not be dynamic, so you won't be able to get actual intel on tripod movements from the radio chatter, which is a bit of a shame, but I get why, because after chatting to RAF the other day I found out that even things that you may think are very simple to do, to add in, turn out to just be an absolute ball ache from start to finish. So I'm not at all surprised at this response here, but it is a good question nonetheless. Okay, so moving on to some questions and suggestions I've seen from the game's Discord server, we're starting off with a question from Let's Get Goofy, and they asked, when tripods become available, will they be first and third person sort of camera positions, or just one fixed camera? And the response from Mo King, which is one of RAF's community management people, they have said that they believe they will be both, but we'll find out as development progresses, which I'd be interested to see how that would work in first person, like what it would look like. Would the HUD be different? Would we get a kind of cockpit style view? Time will only tell on that one. Next suggestion came from Seoul. I don't know how that's pronounced, so if I butchered your name, I can only apologise, but they asked about blood rain. Now, how accurate this is to the lore, I have no idea, but I do kind of like the sound of it, that there's so much blood being harvested that some of it kind of just evaporates perhaps and rains down elsewhere. This hasn't been a response by the dev about this, I believe, so I'd like to know what you think about this idea. Personally, I like it. It'd be really creepy. Next one comes from Madara, and they asked if we'll be able to harvest humans as tripods. And I mean, I already know the answer to this after chatting to Raph the other day, as we'll be able to control the tentacles, so that kind of leads me to believe there will be harvesting. But we had a response from Mo saying that the tripod controller is still in development, but we all know that the first word of this response was all we wanted to see, and that word simply being yes. Next one comes from Ellie Orange, and that was if there will be a multiplayer in the Patreon release, which Mo responded with what we were probably already thinking here anyway, and that is that it depends on the development progress by then. And they also asked if the Patreon build will just give us temporary access, but I have known for quite some time now that it won't be the case, and Mo has also confirmed it here. So what that basically means is if you're a Patreon member, you should get access to the game permanently by around the end of September, hopefully, as we'll get a Steam key that will just let you activate on Steam and you can unlock the game early. Now the last suggestion here comes from Sky Music, and that was that it would be cool to see the tripods crouching and looking through windows hunting people, which I would be quite surprised if that wasn't eventually a thing, because at the moment houses are just kind of too safe. You can't really get killed if you're in a house at the moment unless a glitch happens and a pod somehow steps on you through the ceiling. So that's all the community suggestions. Now moving on to my idea I pitched to Raph, that was I think it would be a good idea to have NPCs, specifically civilians, instead of roaming around kind of randomly in the towns, actually give them a direction to travel to. And I think we can use the military for this. So in the film you have people massing at evacuation points where the military are acting as crowd control, processing people. Well, I think something similar could be done in this game. Have the military set up major checkpoints near places like maybe train tracks or remotish places, you know, like industrial areas, whatever, and have civilians gradually make their way to this location. And these locations shouldn't be safe, at least not for long. Perhaps it could be a spot where you can sleep once or get a minuscule amount of supplies, and I do mean minuscule, because, you know, it shouldn't be a utopia, as my next idea for this would be to have the occasional tripod stumble across these evac points, use its horn to call the other pods in, and then just watch as the military try and hold off the tripods while civilians make their escape. This would make for a really awesome battle scene, and in my opinion it'd be just as iconic as the battles in the film, but also being different, so it's not like they're just recreating the scenes from the film. Let me know what you think of this idea in the comments. I have spoken to Raph about this idea and he does seem to like it, so there is a possibility that this could be a thing. Okay, so that is everything regarding War of the Worlds. I now want to bring up my announcement that I mentioned at the start. Now, some of you may know this already, but for those that don't, I want to let you all know that I will be going to EGX in London this year in September. It runs from Thursday the 22nd of September up to Sunday the 25th. And I have got press pass for all of those days, so I'll just be checking out the exhibits and also probably doing some kind of vlog while I'm there as well. But it is also an opportunity for me to meet some of you. I'll make sure that you're all aware of when and where I'll be, and to make that easier, you should probably follow my Instagram account that I've now made, and it's called UberKit1. Someone already took all the best usernames, that's all I was left with. But if you follow that, then I'll be able to post on there, as well as on the community post here on YouTube, and perhaps on Discord as well, just, you know, where you can meet me when I'll be there. That's obviously if you guys want to meet me when I'm there. There might not be many of you, there might be none of you, but I figured I'll mention it anyway. But yeah, that's the announcement that I have. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, as it helps me out massively with the YouTube algorithm. And if you like this sort of content and you want to see more, then you make sure you subscribe to the channel and tick the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.